Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I know the agitation, but Black Lives Matter and Antifa and associated anarchists have not stopped their destruction and harassment on the streets and in the restaurants of American cities across the nation. Just a quick smattering of events when it comes to BLM. Protests like this.
Track all of us. Are you racist? So then put the phone down, because otherwise, so why do you want to record it?
Respect consent? Does your partner over here respect consent? Does it give our consent?
Because that recording allows us all to get doxxed. And you know what doxing is? It means they'll find our addresses, they'll trace our social media, they'll find our families, they'll find where we work, and they'll come and right-wing media will make sure we don't protest anymore. So thank you very much for letting us know that you are indeed racist. I bet your dick is tiny to make up for those big shoulders. Bye.
That was a delicate little flower shouting through a megaphone, a bullhorn at a gentleman and his female companion sitting outside at a restaurant because he, took out his phone and was filming the chaos. Washington, New York, Portland, of course, all the normal hot spots. If we don't get it, shut it down. You get the gist of it, and then also similarly harassing people filming with their phones. One of the things they do now, you may have seen in some of the video clips, is the black umbrellas like they use to cover when they make an advance on police, so you can't see, video can't pick up who's doing what. That's the same thing they do when they surround somebody, a reporter or whoever who's filming. Black umbrellas come up so they can get in that reporter's face, and perhaps even worse, as the case may be.
Track all of us. Are you racist? So then put the phone down, because otherwise, so why do you want to record it?
Say Black Lives Matter.
Malachi.
Black Lives Matter. It lets us know that you're cool.
Say Black Lives Matter.
You put the fist up, but you gotta say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, say Black Lives Matter, homie.
Feel better.
Say
truck's passing
Black Lives
by.
Matter right now.
Black Lives Matter.
Say Black Lives Matter, bro. No,
You didn't. I didn't hear.
bro.
Okay,
Say
say
it.
loud and proud. Hold on. Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk.
Thank
Bro.
you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So this truck comes to a barricade and the mob is out there. Say Black Lives Matter and then you can pass. Say it. Say it. At a restaurant, driving, we've played the video or talked about the video before, played the audio of a guy just trying to fill up his gas tank down in Louisiana. Rochester over the weekend, mass shooting. 2 are dead, 14 injured after gunfire erupts at an illegal lockdown party. Black Lives Matter activist wearing Justice for Breonna Taylor shirt walks into a Louisville bar and kills 3 people, shoots 3 people, black male, Breonna Taylor, Justice for Breonna Taylor shirt, Louisville bar, owned by a retired police officer, shot 3 people at point-blank range, no conversation, no disagreement. There was no conversation. Just walked in, somebody that the owner said they'd never seen before, and executed 3 people at a Louisville bar. Have you gotten much wind of that? This is what persists. And against this backdrop, what do you have? More identitarian performance art at the Emmys yesterday. Jimmy Kimmel and Anthony Anderson, the actor from Blackish. Listen to this cringeworthy exchange.
I'd like to say.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Because in rehearsal, I thought we decided that we're just
You know, we have a record number of Black Emmy nominees this year, which is great. This is the part where the white people start to applaud.
Oh.
And nod.
Oh.
What the f***?
Jimmy. All right, these Emmys would have been All-Star... these Emmys would have been NBA All-Star Weekend and Wakanda all wrapped in one. this was supposed to be the blackest Emmys ever. Y'all wouldn't have been able to handle how black it was going to be. But because of COVID, we can't even get in the damn building.
Well, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, these Emmys would have been so black, it would have been like hot sauce in your purse black. It would have been Howard University homecoming black. It would have been you fit the description black.
Well, I'm sorry that it wasn't that. It would have been great. It really would have.
We would have had speeches quoting our great poets like Maya Angelou.
Yeah, as if I could endure more of that. It's a nice minstrel show Jimmy Kimmel participated in. For more on all this, we're pleased to be joined again by Chadwick Moore, columnist for Spectator USA. Chadwick, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Good morning.
I know you're in New York, so you have a firsthand account of what's happening there, and just on the continued appeasement of Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and other associated thuggery by heiresses, white heiresses, as well as black entertainment types, as well as just run-of-the-mill people looking to take advantage of an opportunity to enjoy a license for violence.
Right, and what we see here in New York mainly is, and this was in the news a couple weeks ago when a bunch of BLM Antifa rioters were destroying buildings in the financial district, and a bunch of them were arrested. They were all wealthy kids with, whose families had second homes in Connecticut and lived on the Upper West Side, and by all extents have very extremely privileged lives and really not much to worry about. And here they are destroying the streets and bashing windows in the name of Black lives, which the majority of black people never asked them to do and probably are cringing as hard as anyone else is. Interesting stuff. And yeah, it's more than that. Oh, God, that award show last night. Of course, I didn't watch it, but I saw the clips this morning. How cringe, how tiresome. Is anyone charmed by that? Is anyone being swayed over to their side by this sort of bullying and this, pledge your support for our movement, or else you can't drive through, or else we won't let you do this. I'm sure whoever that actor was, the worst possible outcome of COVID was that their highly black award show couldn't have a live studio audience. Okay, great.
It's just so anodyne, too. I mean, Anthony Anderson, the actor in question, just sort of running through tired stereotypes. I thought stereotyping was racist, but I know it's not when Anthony Anderson does it. But, I mean, it's also just so uncreative. That's the thing I find equally distressing about these. There's just no thought going on whatsoever, which is why they're awash in contradiction. Not particularly persuasive, as you say, and then ultimately, what do you have to do? You have to resort to making a claim based on race and enforcing it with force.
Right, and it's coinciding with the absolute death of comedy in mainstream entertainment. Race jokes are really funny. Dave Chappelle does it really, really well. Chris Rock does it really, really well. Lots of people can do that, but you get these activist types who think they're comedians trying to do these really tired race jokes that don't come off as funny or a way that we can look at each other, look around, poke fun of ourselves. That's what humor is supposed to be. We're able to laugh at ourselves and laugh at each other. Instead, it comes from this place of anger and supremacy and resentment, and that's not funny or entertaining. Nobody wants to watch that.
Speaking of weak performances, Jussie Smollett, that French actor, or Jussie Smollett, I guess is the Dave Chappelle spin on it. He is trying to get his career back. We're particularly interested in this in Chicago. You wrote about it.
Yes, he is. Bless his heart. He's trying to get his career back. And Linda Sarsour, Danny Glover, and Angela Davis, the
great communist. Yeah.
Yes, great communists, have all, among with several other activists, had signed a letter basically saying that Jussie was set up by the police. He was framed. It's actually a conspiracy from the Chicago Police Department to take down this C-list actor on Empire that, frankly, not many people had heard of unless they watched the show.
Yeah.
And Jussie's also saying that he was set up. So he's really angling for that career back. You know what? He'll probably get it. He'll probably be on TV again in a year because the left, how they are, they take care of their own. He's got very, very powerful friends in Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama. So these are sort of the first stages of getting Jussie back on television, and it's such gaslighting. It's so cynical, as if there isn't a single person in this country who doesn't know what really happened and what was up. And it's funny, in the letter, Linda Sarsour and co. blame the media for pushing the cops' conspiracy against him. I only saw the media blindly swallowing Jussie's ridiculous story that 5 minutes after it happened, most people knew that something stunk there.
Yeah, well, I mean, him, seeking justice is sort of like OJ looking for the real killers, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Which dirty cops set him up that really had it up for him?
He's gonna blow the corruption in the Chicago Police Department wide open. I mean, this is this is really something. Goodness, I'm thinking of what was the Sylvester Stallone movie where he plays essentially a whistleblower inside the police department, or maybe Bruce Willis in 7 Blocks or whatever that was. Jussie Smollett could reprise that role as the courageous police officer in a corrupt department who blows a lid on the whole place and cleans it up, then gets accommodation and a key to the city and so forth.
Exactly. Well, if anyone, Jussie's our man. He can do it.
I wonder. Just thinking about the culture writ large, too, I want you to weigh in on these celebrities who weighed in on RBG's passing, and not so much on the passing, but of course on the implication being that she should not, that Trump should not nominate somebody to replace her. The Senate shouldn't take it up. This was a great heroine. I'm talking about some of the great intellects in Hollywood, from Mariah Carey to Katy Perry to Chris Evans, expressing themselves.
Yeah, well, in the words of RGB herself before she passed, the president is elected for 4 years, not 3. So he is still the president doing his duty until, if he happens to lose the election, until next January. So this is he just stop being president because there's an election coming up, because he's got a few more months left in his term. I'm sure that all the actors you mentioned have a deep understanding of the Supreme Court and how the nomination process works and the roles of the president as assigned in the Constitution. Of course, they continue to. They've learned nothing from 2016. Democrats or celebrities lecturing Americans on what they should do and think and how policy should go. It blew up in their face in 2016. It's happening again in 2020.
When it comes to deep understanding, I want to play a couple of clips and see if you think that there is a deep understanding, even beginning to permeate urban centers like Chicago or New York, as to the real attitude of leftists towards people with whom they disagree. This a woman in Portland being interviewed, a man on the street bit for a local reporter, asking her about the Trump supporter that was murdered there a couple of weeks ago on the streets of Portland. The alleged killer ultimately killed himself before police apprehended him.
I don't think I've heard of another Trump supporter being shot. So the what? He got shot. Is he alive?
I believe he died.
Oh, tough luck. Don't be a Trump supporter in Portland.
Don't be a Trump supporter in Portland, or you get murdered. That's it. That's how it goes, Chadwick.
Oh, yeesh. Well, at least they're honest. I mean, that seems to be what's going on. And I think she said she hadn't even heard of it. Well, surprising, because I can imagine the kind of media you consume that you wouldn't have heard about that.
Right. No, to Telly. And then, of course, this cri de coeur from the left after Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing became public.
Holy you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Could this year get any worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
That woman hasn't been identified, but I believe it may be Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin, Chadwick. I'm not sure.
These are exactly the sort of people that we want having to say in politics and voting, right? These Marxism's holy rollers who are so emotionally unhinged. When an 87-year-old woman who we all knew it was coming, God rest her soul, passes away, this is the reaction. I think I saw people also saying there was someone else who posted something furious, screaming, all sorts of expletives. Why couldn't she just hold on until a few more months? Why? It's like, okay.
I'm going to steal that phrase. I like that. Marxist holy rollers. That's very good. That's very good. That's why you're a Spectator USA columnist. It is religion, and they are evangelists. Yeah.
They're not like Stalin was like the Stalinists were like they could build things. They could manage the society. It eventually would collapse. But the holy rollers they needed out in the streets to sort of terrify everyone and draw up support. That's what these people are. These people can't do anything. They can't build these things. They're not thoughtful people. They're not intellectual people. But they're fervently emotional people. And the holy rollers. I couldn't think of a better name for them.
He is Chadwick Moore, a columnist for Spectator USA. Chadwick, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The Springfield politicians are pushing a constitutional amendment on the November ballot.
It would give the General Assembly new powers to drastically change income taxes in Illinois.
If passed, Springfield politicians would have the power to create an unlimited number of tax brackets and raise income rates on every group of taxpayers at will, including middle-income families.
Their tax hike amendment would approve in advance any future tax increases politicians want to impose, with no limits, no accountability, and no voter approval of the rates.
And it would immediately authorize an initial $3 billion tax increase on small businesses, farmers, and large employers, further damaging our economy.
The tax hike amendment is a bad idea at the worst possible time. Join thousands of small businesses across Illinois and vote no.